Good evening and very many thanks for joining us on the evening news on ABS. My name is Ifunanya Amathli and our headlines for today. Governor Obiano commends President Buhari for suspending the establishment of Nigerian Air. On-DAC team arrives Anambra to assess devastation of flooding. FRSC seeks improved sanctions against phone users on wheels. And on the foreign scene, Palestine teenager killed by Israeli tear gas canister in Gaza Strip. And we'll start with the news in details. Governor Billy Obiano of Anambra State has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for suspending the establishment of Nigerian Air, which was announced recently by the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sarika, without disclosing the reasons. Describing the decision as courageous, Obiano noted the Buhari administration did not allow ego to get in the way of its suspension of the proposed carrier. In a statement signed by the Anambra State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, C. Don Adinuba, the governor commended the president for the bold step in policy review. The governor observed the Nigerian president was not held hostage by the fact that the government had launched the new carrier's livery and logo with fanfares in London in July, or by the consideration that a reasonable amount of money has been spent on feasibility studies and the roadshow in London. Governor Obiano, an accountant, auditor, and former bank executive director, said it will have been a contradiction for the federal government to make an investment in the airline at a time it is divesting its 12.4 billion shares in the Nigerian Security and Mining Company to enable the firm to become more efficient and effective in its operations. He argued that the failure of the proposed airline should not make the nation gloss over the need for a flag carrier, but should rather encourage it to look inwards and promote an airline which will be the pride of all Nigerians. The governor therefore urged the federal government to make Air Peace, Nigeria's biggest airline, the Nigerian flag carrier, noting that it has a larger fleet than the other indigenous airlines put together. He recalled that the leading Nigerian carrier last February became the first indigenous carriers to acquire the wide-body 777-200 plane for its international operations, which will start in the last quarter of 2018, and has added a Boeing 777-300 aircraft to its fleet last August 25th, which will next month commence direct flights to London, Houston, Johannesburg, Dubai, Mumbai, and Guangzhou. According to the governor, in the middle of last month, the airline stunned the aviation industry when its chairman, Barrister Allen Oyema, and the Boeing commercial airline director, Mr. Larry Tolliver, signed an agreement in the residence of the American Consul General in Lagos to supply Air Peace with 10 brand new Boeing 737 MAX planes for $1.17 billion, which he noted will increase the 5-year-old airline's fleet to 30, and also make it the first West African carrier to own the MAX model of the hugely successful Boeing 737 series, adding that Air Peace is not just the fastest growing air carrier in Nigeria's history, but is the most professionally managed. The governor explained that contrary to the thinking of some people, a flag carrier does not have to be owned or promoted by the government, citing the example of the privately owned British Airways, which serves as the UK's flag carrier. Governor Obiano expressed confidence that at the rate Air Peace is growing, it will give global airlines in Nigeria a good run for their money earlier than most people seem to realize. A team from the United Nations Disaster Assessment and Coordination, UNDAC, yesterday arrived Anambra State over the flooding ravaging parts of the state. The team was received by the governor, Willie Obiano, at his country home, Aguleri, after which they went in for a closed-door meeting. And our government house correspondent, Kenechukwu Ofoma, was there and now reports.
The UNDAC team comprised the leader, Mr. James Brown, an American expert in disaster data gathering and analysis, as well as 2 Swedish experts in environmental issues and information communications technology. Speaking with newsmen after the meeting, Mr. Brown revealed that their visit was in response to government's call to assist in strengthening the response capacity of the national and state emergency management agencies towards tackling the flood challenges across the country. He said part of what they will be doing in Anambra will be to gather data on the real situation and relay to the United Nations head office at Abuja for interventions from the agency and the international community. Mr. Brown observed that despite the intensity of the flood ravaging communities of the state, very minimal casualties have been recorded, attributing it to the preparedness of the government.
And with this small team, we are here to assist the State Emergency Management Agency in responding to the flood disaster.
The UNDAC team was accompanied to the meeting by members of the SEMA and other bodies set up by the state government with responsibilities in the flood management initiative. From Aguleri, I am Kenechukwu Ofoma, reporting for ABS News.
The traditional ruler of Umuawulu, Igwe Jewel Eguonwu, has commissioned 3 strategic community development projects in his domain. The projects, which include construction of Oye Holy Cross Secondary School, Umuawulu, construction of a 500-seating capacity civic center with offices, and building of a perimeter fencing at Union Secondary School, Umuawulu. And our correspondent, Ngozi Obileri, covered the occasion, and now her reports.
The commissioning ceremony witnessed the presence of cabinet chiefs from Umuawulu Town Union executives and some notable individuals in the community. Commissioning the projects one after another, Igwe Eguonwu appreciated God for what he has been doing for the community through his subject that attracted the projects from the federal government. According to the traditional ruler, Chief Christopher Ndubisi championed construction of the Civic Center. Chief Emmanuel Enwelo attracted the perimeter fencing at Union Secondary School, Umuawulu, while Chief Emmanuel Ndubisi attracted the construction of Oye Holy Cross Road. Igwe Eguonwu thanked Governor Willie Obiano for providing the enabling environment for Anambra to come home and invest.
Site n'ịrụ fence na Union Secondary School Umuawulu. Anyị wee na-ekene Chukwu na o ji ụmụ ya bụ ndị Umuawulu wee kwara ngwa ọrụ wee rụọ ife arụrụ ebe a.
The President General of the community, Chief Ike Nkala, noted that peace is necessary for communities to develop, adding that the community has been enjoying a lot of good fortunes since their traditional ruler ascended the throne. Chief Nkala appreciated those who attracted federal government presence into the community and noted that together they can build a more habitable environment for their children and generations to come.
Now today, we're all assembled here to appreciate God for all the wonderful things He has been in this community. I would say now God sent candidates of Chief Emmanuel Christopher Ndubisi and Emmanuel Ndubisi. Now God sent the Kafawo.
In their separate speeches, Chiefs Ndubisi, Enwelo, and Ndubisi, who thanked God for the successful completion of the project, pledged to continue to attract more developments to the community, praying God to grant long life to their monarch, whom they say is a blessing to them.
Amen. And when you like, when I was in Dozo,
more projects is coming, it's on the way already. Before this year, as far as the supporting of this government will benefit in this government.
The projects were cited under MDG 2017 Constituency and Zonal Intervention Project and supervised by the Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development as well as the Federal Ministry of Works. From Umuawulu, Inoka South Council area, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
Bishop Paulinus Ezokafo of Awka Catholic Diocese has donated relief materials to people affected by the flood, taking refuge at Achala Camp Settlement in Awka North Local Government Area. Most Reverend Ezokafo, who made the donations through the Justice, Development and Peace Commission, JDPC, of the diocese, visited them with series of life-enhancing relief materials. Addressing the people who were mainly subsistent farmers, Bishop Ezokafo, who was represented by the Councillor of the Diocese, Very Reverend Father Francis Chidume, expressed gratitude to God for saving their lives, noting that God, who allowed them to stay alive, will continue to provide and watch over them. Bishop Ezokafo, who decried the level of devastations in their various farmlands, assured the affected persons of God's intervention, urging them to take solace in the fact that they were alive to count their losses, reminding them of those who died in the process. The bishop, who was accompanied by the director of JDPC in Awka Diocese, Reverend Father Simon Anibogo, parish priest of St. Paul's Catholic Church, Achala, Reverend Father Beningos Swankwo, and the vicar, Reverend Father Michael Anabogo, amongst others, called on public-spirited individuals to join in the reaching out to the people affected by flood, offering humanitarian services to them. He appealed to government at all levels to visit the various camps for an on-the-spot assessment, regretting the damage the flood has done to the victims' farmland and source of livelihood. Earlier in a remark, the parish priest of St. Paul's Catholic Church, Achala, Reverend Father Nwankwo, thanked the bishop for the visit and prayed God to continue to bless and keep him. The director of JDPC in Awka Diocese, Reverend Father Anibogu, said they were in the settlement of the approval of Bishop Ezokafo and commiserated with those affected by the natural disaster. The bishop later presented tubers of yams, cartons of noodles, toiletries and detergents, as well as pieces of blankets, big bags of beans, bottle and bags of sachet water, amongst others, to the victim. In a similar development, the Diocese of the Niger has visited persons affected by flood at one of the holding centers at Bishop Crowther Memorial Primary School, Onitsha. The congregation marched from All Saints Cathedral through Ridge Road to the school. Speaking at the center, the Archdeacon of Onitsha South Archdeaconry, Venerable Josiah Ofuebu, said the church was an agent of peace, is ever determined to assist those in need, urging the affected persons not to lose hope as the flood will soon recede. On his part, the Archdeacon of Oba Archdeaconry, Venerable Dave Udoezika, stressed the need for Christians to be apostles of peace wherever they find themselves, in order to win souls for Christ. Also speaking, Venerable Ndubisi Obi, who centered his message on the gains accruable if a nation seeks the face of God and turns away from sin, urged Nigerians to embrace peace. The group later made presentations to the affected persons. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, Mr. Boboye Oyeyemi, says the Corps is advocating an upward review of fines payable by users of mobile telephones while on the wheels. The Corps Marshal also said that a minimum fine of 50,000 naira to 100,000 naira will serve best as deterrents to defaulters, rather than the paltry sum being currently demanded from defaulters. Boboye also said that no fewer than 74 Federal Road Safety Commission officials were killed by reckless drivers in the last 18 months across the country. Boboye, who also warned that the commission will stop at nothing to bring killers of his personnel to justice, added that plans were already on for road traffic offenders to be meted stiffer punishments. Explaining further, The Corps Marshal said it was discovered during the last Salah patrols that 30% of articulated vehicle drivers do not see at night. Boboye said a great number of drivers did not know how to drive, blaming driving schools for not living up to expectations. And in our business news today, the Central Bank of Nigeria has given reasons why the nation's external reserves, which currently stands at $44 billion, have been on a downward trend lately. Speaking during the CBN Day at the ongoing Abuja International Trade Fair in Abuja, the Director, Corporate Communications at the Apex Bank, Mr. Isaac Okorafor, explained that the external reserves had been going down recently because of higher yields in the United States. Okorafor, however, gave an assurance that at the current level, the external reserves were sufficient to take care of the nation's import bill for 17 to 20 months, much more than the 3-month standard recommendation. According to him, some foreign investors who had gone to emerging markets to take advantage of the high yields have had to go back to the United States because of better opportunities there at the moment, adding that Nigeria's situation was not peculiar. The CBN spokesperson also listed some intervention programs which the Apex Bank had undertaken in order to propel the growth of small and medium enterprises in the country. Some of the interventions include the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund, 200 billion naira Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme, 200 billion naira SME Restructuring and Refinancing Facility, SMEs Credit Guarantee Scheme, 300 billion naira Power and Airline Intervention Fund, and 220 billion naira Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development Fund. On a good note, Comrade Roy Ekwunife of the Anambra Broadcasting Service has won the Actors Guild of Nigeria's Southeast Zone Best Broadcaster Award for 2018. Mr. Ekwunife, with more than 25 years' experience in journalism and broadcasting, is a co-host of ABS Radio 88.5 FM breakfast show, Heartbeat at Dawn, and Anambra Talks, and also the presenter and producer of ABS TV political program Inside Politics, and an actor of repute. David Ukpokwasili has the report.
While presenting the award to the managing director of ABS, Nze Uchenwora, Mr. Ekwunife dedicated the award to God and said that the new digital studios provided by the Governor Willie Obiano government has given the organization a platform to meet 21st century demands in broadcasting and keep up with the best international practices. He said he is now motivated to work harder towards the growth and development of the organization.
And I want to use this medium to congratulate our Governor Apokwedike Global, who has given us the platform, who has digitized ABS, who has created the much needed enabling environment for creativity to thrive. You may have the best of talents, but whereby you don't have the enabling environment to showcase that talent. Definitely the talent remains latent.
Receiving the award, Nzenwora, who was elated by the accolade, enumerated some of the recent awards received by the establishment to include Best FM Station Southeast Zone 2017, Dame Prize for Documentary Nigeria in 2016, won by Ifyo Nachukwu, and the USAID Best Radio Documentary Prize in Malaria Prevention, won by Noenwo Koye, noting that such awards will further motivate the organization to advance to enviable heights.
I think it's not surprising because you are continuing in that legacy of excellence that the staff of ABS have exhibited in the past. And of course, ABS has won South in the FM station, Best Southeast FM Station of the Year. Such awards have been coming in the past. So I'm very, very happy that also, you are continuing along that path. And I have to say, congratulations.
Another staff of the ABS, Mr. Ezo Nwunji, in his reaction said he was excited and stated that this is more than applause for efforts of both the government and the management of the ABS, led by Uche Nwora, in reshaping the organization to meet international standards.
Congratulate Roy, and of course it is an enabler. It is also a lesson to all of us that we should go out there and win our own awards. ABS has produced a lot of personalities in broadcasting, so it is a well-deserved award for Roy Ekwunife. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much.
In Oka, this is David Obokwasa reporting for ABS News.
A Palestinian teenager was killed by an Israeli gas canister that was fired at a protest along the enclave's north border with Israel, Gaza's health authorities said. Ministry of Health spokesperson Ashraf Al-Qidra said that Ahmed Abu Habel, 15 years old, died when the tear gas canister hit him in the head near a checkpoint between Israel and the Gaza Strip, while 24 others were injured. Israel's military did not comment on the specific incident, but a spokesperson told newsmen that soldiers had fired live rounds in accordance with the rules of engagement as protesters massed along the border. The incident follows months of demonstration by Gazians along the border fence with Israel, demanding their rights to their ancestral lands from which they were expelled 70 years ago. The Great March of Return rallies culminated on May 15th to mark what Palestinians refer to as the Nakba, or catastrophe, a reference to the forced removal of 750,000 Palestinians from their homes and villages to clear the way for Israel's establishment in 1948. So far, more than 195 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, one of the most densely populated places on earth. One Israeli soldier has been killed since the protests began on May 30th. And on the sports scene, Cristiano Ronaldo will not take part in Portugal's next 4 internationals. The national coach Fernando Santos said on Thursday, refusing to give any reasons. The 5 times Ballon d'Or winner missed the 2 internationals Portugal played in September. At the time, Santos suggested that the 33-year-old's absence was temporary and intended to help the star attacker adapt after his move from Real Madrid to Juventus. Since then, accusations that Ronaldo committed rape in 2009, which the player denies, have resurfaced. Portugal are due to play 3 National League games against Poland on October 17th and against Italy and Poland in November, and a friendly against Scotland later this month. Don't forget you can log on to our website to follow our news and programs from any part of the world simply by going on to www.absradiotv.com, or you can like us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television, or follow us on our Twitter and Instagram handle at ABS Radio TV. And before we end the news, we'll go through our main points for this evening. Governor Obiano commends President Buhari for suspending the establishment of Nigerian Air. In a statement signed by the Information Commissioner, Adinuba, the governor said Air Peace can offer the country a viable alternative. UNDAC team has arrived Anambra to assess devastation of flooding. FRSC is seeking improved sanctions against phone users on will. And on the foreign scene, Palestine teenager has been killed by Israeli tear gas canister on the Gaza Strip. And that's it from the evening news from the studio of ABS. Many thanks for being with us. My name is Ifunanya Amafili. Do have a pleasant evening.